Last but not least,
Hmm.
or maybe they save the best for last. I guess you get to decide, right? uh, Anine, Miscozikwe, Nin Diego Jubuemo, Arik Songab, Dudem Gichi Nokomis. I am the Red Woman of the Standing Deer Clan, the chief grandmother. Also, recently, I have yet to figure this one out. When he was raised up, I got to go with him, and I am now a Gichi Abuela of the Quetzal Council of the Eagle Condor Quetzal Hummingbird Coalition. I think that's it.
That's well.
Y'all can call me Sherry. Tonight I'm speaking as a chief grandmother. The role of a chief grandmother is to teach, is to carry the traditions, is to raise up the women and the men in the way that they should go. I'm kind of known for doing the feather teaching. And I'm going to give you a little bit of that tonight as a part one. And you'll have to stay tuned for the rest of the weekend to get the rest of the story. I want to thank Brother Jeremiah for his robin dance because I've had a hard day. Getting here, number one. My last name's Cardinal, so I kind of identify with the Robins a little bit. So when he was doing his dance, that brought joy to my heart, and I thank you, brother, for that. As he mentioned too, we are a matrilineal culture. And it's the opposite of what most of you have known, unless you were brought up in an indigenous culture. And the feather teaching is a story about that, which has, am I finding out, many, 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 many layers. And the first layer being the way it was taught to me by our elder Salwawadi is that the feather has three main parts. The biggest and obvious part is what is called the male part. Okay. And the male's job is to execute the decisions and the wishes of the female. But as Saul tells it, the men have lost their way and they no longer listened to the women. They no longer listen to the mothers and the grandmothers and the aunties. And if you're a tribal person, you know about aunties. They're formidable. And I find myself in a position right now of being an auntie to my three nephews, Mike, Todd, and Mark, who lost their mother, my sister, yesterday. So I now find myself the matriarch of that family. I was once the youngest, and now I'm the oldest. How did that happen? Okay, I don't know. But here it is. But the whole idea of the feather teaching is that in order for us to survive, we have to go back to this way, where the matriarchs do the guidance and the teaching and the raising of the children. And the men, I call them the executioners, they're to execute what the women want and for protection and to keep everyone safe. so that the women can do the proper jobs. In the middle of that, that holds all that together, okay, is the 7 grandfather teachings. Some of you are familiar with that. If you're not familiar, I urge you to get familiar. And we found as we went to New York City to our Jewish brothers and sisters that the 7 Noahide laws say the same thing. So that was part of our joining together, not only male and female, but as brothers and sisters in spirit. Now, thing happened there. Don't worry, I'll be good. At the time we were there, the women were not allowed to go in where the Torah was. I was made to sit outside all by myself in Queens, New York. And I was a little, shall we say, miffed. Because they didn't get the idea of the feather teaching. We had just taught it. And I had just spoken up about the role of women in our culture and the atrocities that we face that Mitika talked about earlier. And well, they didn't get it, but they have since. We go back to New York City in the fall, and he's going to escort me in because now they're going to allow women. And I like to think that our visit there helped that along. So we are rising, women. Take your place. Okay. Now, y'all may be wondering how come I'm standing up here. I sit in a wheelchair. I can't stand on my own. So I want you to know that you're witnessing every time I get up to speak, I can stand without pain. That's the only time. It's the only time. I keep saying there's a young buck beside me that's holding me up. Well, look at it. My best son here. Yeah. So I don't know how it happens, but it's a witness, not only to me about spirit's rule in my life, but to everybody else, because I can't do this. I've tried and tried. I cannot do it. But I stand here before you. So praise God. Praise God. Okay. Um, the one thing I have found is this feather teaching goes deep. And I don't know, all you youngsters might remember Question of Balance by the Moody Blues. You know, anybody remember that? No, no Moody Blues fans. Huh? They're my favorite band. You do. um, it is a question of balance. And that's why the feather teaching is so important, because we're so out of balance. We take sides on everything, you know, whether it be gender, whether it be politics, whether it be different churches, different denominations, different faiths, different colors. We take sides on everything. We're out of balance. We're out of balance. And it's crucial. It's a crucial step in our journey to seek that balance, each one of us personally. Okay? I found in the Yucatán, how do I say this? Jaguar medicine. They appeared to me down there, and I have been since being taught by some of the grandmothers what that meant. And right now, the Jaguar is a small medallion because I'm just a baby Jaguar. um, I hope maybe someday, if I live long enough, it'll be a bigger medallion. But the Jaguar has 2 sides. You see I don't know if you can see it really, but the light and the dark, the orange and the black. Okay. The Jaguar balances day and night, the above world and the underworld. Okay. And in the middle is the Mayan symbol. Okay. I'm learning this now. I'm just a baby jaguar. But I found a deep dive that one of the things Jaguar does first is make you look at yourself. The last couple of weeks, I have to do a deep dive into myself. And I found there some hardness of heart. You know that the scriptures all talk about hardness of heart. Okay. And while I found that hardness of heart, I also found people loving me. And I'm like, what is this? Taking care of me, looking after me, teaching me, bringing me food, water, just literally carrying me. And y'all know who you are. Well, Zioneers and others. And so I'm learning the balance, having a softened heart. And that's the first step. We all need to look at ourselves. I mean, you know, I'm a counselor, maybe you don't, that I spent 45 years being a psychotherapist. And one of the things we're taught as psychotherapists is about Carl Jung and the shadow. And the shadow is the black jaguar, that part of ourself that's hidden, that's in the darkness, that takes us into the underworld, makes us less empathetic to others and to ourselves. I'm having to learn self-empathy right now, how to receive that love. That's all new to me. You know, I'm the one that is always on the other side of that. So I encourage you, no, I admonish you, don't be afraid of your own shadow. Don't be afraid of your darkness, because in there is your light. In there is the yellow, white jaguar. And you can't be strong unless and until you're willing to face that within you. And it's a hard thing to do. As a counselor, it was my job to take people through that to where they could find their sense of true self and live their lives according to who they were, not who they were taught they were. Okay. And a lot of us here are having that sense of renewal. Man, we come from different backgrounds, abuse and from every which institution, churches, schools, politics, it's everywhere. For me, it's TSA these days. Long story short, I'm here. Um, we've got to take that deep dive. We've got to take that deep dive, and there's always a deeper dive. Oh boy, now I'm really going to be heard. I do admonish that you don't be afraid of that. That is yourself talking to you. That is your spirit, the spirit talking to you. Okay? To find your balance. And I'm going to talk about this more because this has been a long day or two or three for all of us. Okay. But I just want to encourage you that it's a good thing to do. It's not something we should fear, but it's something that we should embrace and love as our true core selves and all of our woundedness. Because that's where God shines, as we've heard from testimonies tonight. And there's always more. That's the thing that I found out this past couple of weeks. Just when you think you've figured it out, kaboom, guess what? There's another lesson, another layer. It's deep. It's deep. So let me leave you with that so we can all get some rest and sleep. And I just want to thank you all for being here and for staying up this late, this like 4 or 5 hours past my bedtime. And here we are together, and I'm so looking forward to the rest of the week. Chi miigwech. Thank you from my heart.